What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here with Packers Daily on Cheesehead TV, coming to you live wherever you are on the internet, because that's what we do here. We're dedicated to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide, including all the fine folks jumping in on the live chat. 5 p.m. Eastern is where you'll find us most of the time for these daily chats. Thank you so much for joining us here in the depths of the offseason, when there's, thankfully, not a whole lot of news. Because usually at this time of year, if there is news, it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. The guys are off, enjoying their time, leave them alone, let them do so, and we can sit here and chat Packers football, because it's what we do. Stewie, you finally made it on time. Hello. Hello from Connecticut. What's up, Frank? Greetings from Nevada. What's going on? Houston checking in. Look at all these people all over the country. I'm just here for the Ticket King promo. You know what's funny? If you need Packers tickets, you just got to go to cheeseheadtv.com. You'll find a link about halfway down the page to Ticket King. They've been around since 1992, physically located across from Lambeau Field. Tickets for home games, away games, preseason games, postseason games, if there are any. Ticket King's got you covered. Check them out at cheeseheadtv.com. Do we take a chance on Jalen Thompson? I don't think so. I'd be very surprised if they used any kind of future draft capital in the what do you call it, supplemental draft. Do you think Campbell return? Love what you do. Thanks, Tilo. I think there's a chance. Obviously, Campbell was hurt very late in the season, so he's undoubtedly working his way back physically. It'll be interesting to see what the timing would be on that. They certainly need, at least looking on paper, I literally just went through the roster yesterday. It certainly looks like they could use a little bit of fortification on the back end, especially at safety. So we'll see. Any developments on Josh Jones? Frank, nothing yet. I wouldn't suspect we'd hear anything about Josh Jones until much closer to camp. You see, we've got 24 days to go. When this gets down to like 3 or 4 days, that's when I would expect to hear something on Josh Jones, maybe even after that. But in this dead time, everyone's out and about and away from football. They're very unusual for them to be talking trade terms with another team. Now, that doesn't mean it couldn't happen. Maybe it does by chance, but I would think it wouldn't happen until much later in the countdown to camp. What I got to know, how many tight ends will be on the 53? Will, you're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. There's a chance there could be 2. There's a chance there could be 4, or anything in between. Let's see how the young guys fare, and even the older guys. I mean, with a 1-year deal for Mercedes Lewis, if the young guys perform, above the call of what's expected of them, it's a possibility they let him go. But it's very much going to be determined on, I think, how quickly you can see development from Bob Tonyan and how Sternberger looks right off the bat. Oh, the Nags' daughter Star Wars podcast was very cool. Thanks for checking it out. That's right. My oldest daughter and I are doing a Star Wars podcast each and every week because we just don't shut up about Star Wars ever, so we figured we'd just record it. Bears fans, Montgomery's going to tear up the NFC North. You would get no argument from me, even if it is a joke or if you're making fun of Bears fans. Montgomery was my favorite player in this draft, and he had to go to Chicago. I'm very happy with Williams, don't get me wrong, but man, I wanted David Montgomery in a Packers uniform, and now I got to watch him torment the league in a Bears uniform. It sucks so much. Zachary, no, I don't. That is incorrect. I mean, it's okay. I'll have it if it's on offer, but I certainly don't love it. Hopefully the refs can be a lot better this year with roughing the passer, etc. Well, Dice, I thought they kind of got a handle on that later in the season in 2018 as things went on. The problem was, of course, is that it came at the expense of the Packers. Certainly costing them the Vikings game. That's a W that they literally took off the board. And certainly didn't get any help in that Redskins game. I don't think that cost them that game, though. Bubba Franks or Donald Lee? Herbert, I got to go with Bubba Franks, although Donald Lee will always have a special place in my heart because of Jimmy Robinson sitting on the sideline going, "Come on, D. Lee!" I actually told Jimmy Robinson that story at the Combine one year, and he thought I was insane. Are World Championships the same thing as a Super Bowl before it was called a Super Bowl? Some people say no because there were less teams. Of course. Yes, no, it's absolutely. Don't let anyone try and diminish what the Packers accomplished before there were Super Bowls. That is the dumbest argument ever. You are still placed in front of another team, another man that you have to beat, that you have to dominate. And the Packers did so and have done so 13 times. Maybe 14 if you listen to Corey Behnke. But the whole attempt to minimize what the NFL was before the Super Bowl era is so stupid to me. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss Raji? Matub, you did. He was here. He phoned in. He kind of kicked off the program. He actually helped me read the Ticket King thing, and then he had to go. Sorry. Let's head over to Twitter, shall we? See what's going on in the old tweet machine with Jim starting us off, asking, how will the new pass interference rules be taken advantage of by QB1? Won't he master that, like the snap count? Well, I'm not quite sure how a quarterback would go about mastering those. Or taking advantage of them. I mean, they will be reviewed within 2 minutes, and that will not be triggered by a coach on the sideline. That'll be handled by a review official. So, I don't really know how much control Rodgers is going to have over that. Maybe it means he throws up one or two more 50-50 balls because he knows that things will be reviewed if his player gets mugged, etc. But I don't really see how a quarterback could take advantage of the new rules. That's just me. John asks, over under 3.5 sacks for Rashawn Gary this year. I'll take over. Probably just. I'd say around 5. I think 5 is a good number for Gary his rookie year. Now watch him come out and have 12. I'd be fine with that. Nagler's never right. I'm down. Stefan, hi Aaron. Which player who has left the Packers in the last 3 years would you like to have back on the 2019 Packers? What's up, Austria? Who has left the Packers in the last 3 years? I think the obvious one is Jordy Nelson if he's healthy. But, given what he looked like in Oakland and that final year in Green Bay, don't really pine for him that much. There's nobody that really jumps. I think they've done a really good job of, in the very recent seasons. Is Micah Hyde within the 3-year threshold? I can't remember. It feels like Hyde would probably be the one if that was indeed less than 3 years ago, which I think it was. Maybe that's right on the cusp. Micah Hyde, final answer. What do the Packers or any NFL team like to see specifically from day one of training camp to final preseason game? Well, Matthew, it's hard to say exactly what benchmarks and targets LaFleur will be looking for since this is his first season in Green Bay. But as for the overarching question, as far as NFL teams in general, obviously health, lack of injuries is the number one thing you want to come out of training camp and preseason with. But mostly, I think development and guys who maybe are maybe early on making mistakes, young guys, when they make mistakes, the ability to learn from them and not make them again. And a cohesion across both fronts, both offensive and defensive. I think those are the big things you're looking for as you go throughout camp into the preseason. Is there any chance that your Madden grudge match against Tom Grossi will get a hype video like other sporting events, or a nickname like the Thrilla in Manila, or the Malice at the Palace? I was in Detroit during Malice at the Palace. That was crazy. Wasn't at the stadium, but local news was nuts that night. That's up to you guys. I don't have time to be cutting no promos, but I am very excited to wipe the floor with Tom Grossi. Now, if some enterprising young fan wants to, hype it up, have at it. But, I got stuff to do. Not that that's not going to be fun and important and great and have a fun time here in the studio kicking his butt. But that's about the extent of it on my end. But go crazy. Let's head back over to the live chat where somebody's opining that Casey Hayward is the guy. And I got to tell you, I always, never in a hot second thought it was a mistake to let Casey Hayward go, given the context and the circumstances they were in at the time that decision was made. Micah Hyde never made sense to me. Casey Hayward always made sense to me. Yes, he went on to do good to great things and has gone on to do, play very well in San Diego. I get it. LA, San Diego, whatever. I get it. I get being, upset that he got away, etc. But in the moment, in the context of the day that decision was made, it was the right decision. Sorry. Frank asks, do you hold any reservations or doubts with Aaron Rodgers and his relationship with the head coach, considering all the rumblings about audibles being talked about through the media? I have my concerns. No. Hello from Denmark. Does anything indicate that Gutekunst has been successful in improving the bottom of the roster? We'll have to watch it play out, right? I mean, that is a big aspect of special teams and how that bottom of the roster is utilized. Now, he's done a lot there, and he brought in a bunch of guys who could possibly be returners, who could blossom in that role. Maybe they help kick coverage, etc. But that's one of those things we're going to have to wait until we get to training camp to see how that bottom 10 to 12 dudes is faring. But that is something definitely that keep an eye on, not only for special teams, but just overall talent level. Back in the day, when Thompson was firing on all cylinders, they had one of the most talented, deepest rosters in the league. And that certainly fell away over these last 5 years or so. But there are rumblings. Lion has Nagler giving 5 now. That's probably fair. Do the Packers need another running back, or do you think we are okay with what we have? What's up, UK? Steven, I think they're fine with what they have. I really do. Now, part of that is dependent on Williams, the rookie, performing as I expect him to. You can't count on that, but you'll obviously have to wait and see how he looks once the pads come on in camp. But given what I expect him to look like and do, and what we know we have as far as Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, and then past that, I'm sure there may be some roster churn. But yeah, I think they're sitting very well, especially in LaFleur's system, where these backs will be utilized much more in the passing game. I know there's a lot of talk around Aaron Jones for obvious reasons. He's hyper talented, want to get the ball in his hands, etc. But Jamal Williams has shown that he can be a factor in the passing game, and not just as a pass protector, which is what he gets most of his publicity for. I do think he can be productive with the ball in his hands in the passing game. So, yeah, I'm very comfortable with where they are at running back. Now, that doesn't mean that they might not make a move there, but right now, that's what I'm thinking. Nick Perry back on a veteran minimum contract. Joseph, I would doubt it unless there's some injuries. I think undoubtedly they certainly look to move on this offseason, and they've certainly stocked outside linebacker. But if they had to make a call, they got him on their emergency sheet, I don't doubt it. But I would think it would take a decent run of injury at outside linebacker for him to get that call. Do you think Ted Thompson regrets cutting Lawrence Guy or Taysom Hill more? I don't think Ted Thompson regrets anything. Ted Thompson did it his way. He won a championship. He's, chilling as a scout. God bless him. Now, I miss Lawrence Guy more than Taysom Hill. Because, Taysom Hill, gadget guy, take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. That makes zero sense to me. But Lawrence Guy, I always thought he was a solid player. I liked him in Green Bay, I liked him in Indy, and I love him in New England. That's a guy I wish they still had. Negs is back. Nagler, Banky 2020. I tell you what, now that would be a ticket. Nagler, Banky. Nobody wants that. What do you think of the Packers rookie Madden ratings? Will these players be available versus Grossi? No, Spencer, they will not be. We will be using 2018 rosters. I haven't looked at anything having to do with Madden 2020 or 2019 or whatever the hell, which one this is. We'll be using 2019 rosters, I think. The latest rosters before the 2020 comes out. No, I haven't looked at any of the rookie stuff. I haven't looked at any of the new stuff because I'm a man with children. I'm very excited to get my hands on it, but yeah, I'm too busy for that nonsense. I would film the Madden hype video like the opening of Raging Bull. I love it. Bears fans sure are talking a lot of smack on Twitter, and training camp hasn't even started yet. Uncultured Barbarian, let me tell you, it's all they got right now. They're finally good after so many years of sucking. I remember that feeling. I remember feeling pretty damn good about it too. So let them crow. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean a thing. Let them have June, let them have July. We'll take September, we'll take October. November and December. That's what I'm about. Any chance I can buy you a beer or 12 week 2? Dylan, absolutely. Just hit me up, man. I'll probably be in lot 1 at some point. What's more likely this season? One of our running backs gets 1,000 yards rushing, or Rodgers throws for 5,000 yards? 5,000 yards? Running back getting 1,000 yards every time on that one. I'd like to see some official Nagler Banky cold weather headgear. Woo! I like it. Like hair, glasses, and all. I tell you what, Garrett, Banky cut the hair. And he shaved the beard for a bit, but it looks like he's growing it back. But yeah. What would you say is the most glaring need thus far in the offseason? On paper, of course, pre-pads. Safety depth. As I said right at the start of the stream, I think, yeah, safety depth is the one kind of outlying concern there. But for the most part, I think they look really good on paper. I think they look very solid. And given everything that they've gone through in the last 2 years, I think Gutekunst has done a good job. But obviously, that's all paper talk. We'll see what happens once the pads come on. When is the Grossi-Nagler Madden Grudge match going to happen? July 19th, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here in this here studio. On this wall, people, LED wall, I'm going to kick Grossi's butt right here for everyone to see. Are there still a lot of ball game left shirts? Analog, yes, there are. We're about halfway through our stock, so get yourself to cheeseheadtv.com. Get to the store. I think there's limited runs available for some of those smaller sizes. I think there's only one medium left. I'm just saying, man. Get yours. Any insight why number 5 hasn't been retired yet? I've heard stories on it being unofficially retired, but for some reason his name isn't on the stadium walls. Any insight? Thank you as always, Frank. I could attempt to give you insight, but I will point you to a column that Pete Doherty, my former colleague at the Green Bay Press-Gazette, wrote a couple years ago. If you just Google Packers should retire 5 and Pete's name, you'll find it. He does a great job of delving into the reasons they haven't and why they should, because Pete is of the opinion that they should, as am I. And I know there are some out there who think his numbers don't back it up, or he's not as important and or as great a player as the guys who are on the wall, and I disagree vehemently with all of that. But yeah, I think Pete does a really good job of laying that out in his column. Number 5 isn't retired because gambling. I don't think that's it. I mean, maybe back in the day there was some thought to that, but I don't think that's it now. Did you see the tweet Woodson RT'd about haha not deserving to wear 21? I did, and then I also saw that he clarified that he saw the video, which was of him in a pick 6, and so he retweeted it and then read the sentiment above the video, which said, haha, didn't deserve to wear 21, which is, by the way, just silly. Look, I'm no haha fan. Man blocked me on Twitter for defending his play, which is an all-time hilarious move. But the hate and the revisionist history on haha's time in Green Bay, he was a model citizen off the field. He did great work in the community. Was he an all-pro player? No, of course not. But he was nowhere near the dregs of the safety position that most Packer fans want to make him out to be. And this idea that he didn't deserve to wear 21, he busted his ass and played his heart out for you guys. And, this idea that there's anybody in the NFL that doesn't deserve to wear whatever number is just silly to me. You have no idea the amount of work and dedication and sacrifice that every single man in the NFL goes through just to get there, let alone stay there, let alone be a starter on a team that, went to the playoffs on, many years while he was here or there in Green Bay. I just don't get it. I mean, I know, I'm old and stupid, but it kind of irks me. Predictions on Kevin King this year. Stays healthy. Yes, Sly, I am on record here. Packers Daily, offseason. I am all in on Kevin King. He is going to stay healthy. He's going to lead the team in interceptions, and he's going to head into his final season of his rookie contract, and they're going to offer him a new deal. Check it out. I like that Woodson made the clarifying tweet. No way he would purposely tweet something like that with that intention, in my opinion. I agree. Sounds to me like you're kissing up the haha so he will unblock you. Yes, haha Clinton Dix, who has blocked me on Twitter, is an avid viewer here at Packers Daily. Packers Daily, when he plays for the Bears. I couldn't give a shit if he unblocks me. Man, AJ Hawk has me blocked. Morgan Burnett has me blocked. Brian Bulaga has me blocked. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's their Twitter account. They can do whatever they want with it. I truly don't care. How nervous are you that Rodgers could get injured again this year? Not at all. It's football. He could get injured, sure. Everyone could get injured. That's football. Every single play, someone could get injured. And if he does, it'll be fun to watch the Packers try and deal with it. I think Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT as a New Orleans Saints fan. Well, it's very open-minded of you. I'm not ready to call him the GOAT. I think he is absolutely one of the best to ever do it. There's no doubt about that. I like all those football players that can block. Nice. Garrett, thanks for hitting the Patreon. Very nice of you to pony up the $5 a month. I don't know why this thing is hating the word Patreon, but it is what it is. How the hell do you get blocked by Hawk? Because I said, things about his play on the defensive side of the ball when he was in town. This is a true story. I think I've told this before. I think it was after the playoff game when Cap went nuts. I was at NFL Films and they were doing a thing for broadcast boot camp, and AJ was there because he wants to get into broadcasting, and I was there with Jaws and Greg Cosell, and literally the first play they brought up was Cap running for 60-plus yards for a touchdown in the playoffs, and Hawk is sitting right across from me, and Jaws looks at him and goes, "So AJ, what the hell happened on this play?" And I'm sitting there like, I'm not tweeting, I'm not saying a thing. And AJ walked him through it. But yeah, he's never been a big fan. But then that's fine. He doesn't have to be. I mean, that's why, he, Morgan Burnett, all those guys, because that defense sucks sometimes. And when they did, I said it. I get it. Andy, I don't know why you think I care what you think about my matchup with Tom Grossi. Look, you can cheer for Tom. That's great. Have fun doing so. Where can I go to find tickets for the upcoming Packers games? That's a great question. You can go to cheeseheadtv.com and you can find a link to Ticket King. They're right across from Lambeau Field, physically, but also located on the internet, that you can find at cheeseheadtv.com. They've been around since 1992. They can get any tickets for any Packers game. If you want to sit in seats and watch Aaron Rodgers play the game of football, you can do that by going to Ticket King via cheeseheadtv.com. If you see a guy painted green and yellow week 2, that'll be me, the guy looking to buy you a beer. Okay, I'll be sure it's you and not Banky. Kroll's West or Kroll's East? Kroll's West, of course. TD to INT ratio this season for Rodgers? Whew, that's a good question. Just a little tighter than it was last year, but not by much. How different would the secondary be if Demarius Randall was kept around? At what position? Is he playing corner or is he playing safety? I think they'd be a little better off if he was around playing safety, that's for sure, because then you wouldn't have to kick Tramon Williams back there. But yeah, they'd be a little better off. But I think long term, they're in a good spot now. I can't wait to see Savage tear it up. I really can't. Andy Gilbert sniffs Tom Grossi's controller after games. Matub, you kill me. Is our offensive line where it needs to be? And should Rodgers play more in the preseason? I think yes, he absolutely should play more in the preseason. And I think he's resigned to the fact that he's going to have to play more in the preseason. I think the offensive line is in a really good spot. I think they've added a decent amount of talent. I think Billy Turner is going to step in and really solidify things at right guard. I'm excited to see what Jenkins brings. I'm excited to see what Cole Madison brings. And I still think McCray's got talent. I think, Patrick's got talent. I think they've got more depth there now, which should help long term. It's a long season. Those guys get nicked up. Who decides whether the media is allowed to record plays during training camp? Well, Brett, I can tell you they're not allowed to record plays during training camp. I've already asked about it. The policy is usually set between the head coach and the PR group. I do think Mark Murphy has a little bit more say than in most places. That's just the sense I get. But I tell you what, I have the opportunity through another organization to possibly get credentials for training camp, and I might just not do it just so I can sit in the stands with the fans and then record whatever the hell I want. Although they do have a stipulation in like some kind of fan agreement nonsense that they post on their website. It's not, you don't sign anything, but by sitting in the seat there as a fan, they do have rules for Nitschke Field that say you're not allowed to film and post from your phone to social, etc. So if you ever got crazy, they could try to enforce that, but I just buy a drone, so it'd be fine. Is there a shareholders meeting coming up? I've been delivering a lot of letters to the Packers shareholders. Mike the mailman, I get it. Yes, I got my shareholder letter in the mail just the other day, coming up on the 24th, I believe. Evan, you did make it, and you are late because it's time for me to go. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'm sorry if I couldn't get to your questions. Evan, I'm glad you made it here to watch me say goodbye. Please, if you so desire, and you do enjoy what we do here at Cheesehead TV, please visit our Patreon. Consider giving us $5 a month to support everything we do, whether it's on the website, on the video side, podcasting, whatever it is. It helps support everything. And gives you access to my podcast, Naglers Never Right. Hey, if you're here on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends and family. We're actually over 9,000. Very exciting threshold to cross. I'd like to get to 10 before training camp, though I'm not holding my breath. Yeah. Share, like, subscribe. Shout it to the world. And July 19th, be here when I kick Grossi's ass. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night.